so if we've got a YouTube audience out there and you can hear me, very, very sorry for the problems we've been having tonight. It looks like we've finally just barely got enough speed and stability to start up a YouTube stream, but I'm not sure if it's going to last, and if so, how long it will last. Unfortunately, that's the best I can do for tonight, folks, but it's just not been a good night for broadcast purposes, that's for sure. Haven't even barely been able to even notify anybody of what the problem is, because anytime I try to pull up a browser, instantly just shuts down on me and just starts spinning, and can't really post anything or update anyone on what's going on. So it's been a really frustrating night in that department for myself. More importantly, for the Wildcats, well, they clawed back to within one. That's the good news. The bad news is that they've forced Dempsey to make so many good saves. This game could easily be out of hand right now when you consider the crowd and how electric this atmosphere is tonight. That is a scary feat. As a Wildcat, you don't want to imagine this game getting out of control, especially on their last game of the season. But all in all, I'd say things are looking up. The Cats were dominated in the first period, less so in the second. They've drawn to within one off of Blake Ripley's first power play goal as a Wildcat. Nice little circle to circle, sort of like a give and go play between Ripley and Jonathan Waring. Ripley's sort of a relatively recent addition on the Wildcats power play. Really smart player, good shooter. Makes perfect sense for him to get some power play time, and he was finally rewarded with that opportunity. He's made good on it tonight. After that snipe blocker side on Camden Burgrave, unfortunately, that's the only time he has looked mortal tonight. He's been rock solid for the IceRays. And what could be his last performance as an IceRay, Cam Burgrave. Obviously in the playoffs, most teams, for the most part, just start their number one goaltender, and in the IceRays case, that is absolutely Tomas Vomachka. We may not see a whole lot of Burgrave come the playoffs, and who knows where he'll be next year. He understands that and is playing like it's his last game in this uniform, that's for sure. Waring now the team leader in points against the IceRays this season as a defenseman. That's absolutely remarkable. 11 points in 10 games against Corpus Christi on the campaign for Jonathan Waring. But it's not been enough. 20 minutes remain for the Wildcats to tie this game up for the first time since the first period. They'll have to do it for the second straight night without help from Ilya Skvortsov, who's taken himself out again for a very unsportsmanlike play. Last night it was spearing, tonight it was slashing. And the Russian services will not be available. We can only hope he doesn't get any time for the playoffs. If he gets suspended for the postseason, the Wildcats are going to have to look for some offense from a lot of different sources. Ilya, probably the hardest shooter on the team, arguably the best hands on the team. Really versatile offensive threat, any way you cut it. And he just completely puts defenses on its heels. That's why we said the Wildcats have got to be careful. We saw a big scuffle at the end of that second period. And really players from both teams, these teams are both playoff bound. They've got to watch themselves. Because if they do something foolish, something they regret, they might end up getting themselves suspended and missing the most important games. Some of the most important games of their careers in the next couple of weeks. The third period action just about finally underway. We had a pretty extended intermission with what with that drum show and the light show and the noise meter and the chuck-a-puck and what have you. All sorts of fun events happening tonight here with Skills USA folks from all over the state of Texas. Some of the most talented high schoolers from all over the great state are here this weekend. As Hannawall shot early on, just seconds in, fought off by Camden Burgrave from the left wing side. So, looks like there were several penalties assessed. Here comes Kruger giving it across, and the IceRays score. That's Brad Power on a 2-on-1. Mason Kruger's second assist on the night, and the IceRays have regained a multi-goal lead. It's 3-1 Corpus. Goals tonight from the IceRays scored by players numbered 7, 8, and 9. For the Wildcats, just one at number 20. And again, for the second straight period, the IceRays have scored within the first minute. This time, the first 21 seconds. Period 2, it took them 50 seconds. Period 3, just 21. And maybe that's a new problem, an entirely new issue that the Wildcats are having that they need to work on. Come playoffs, you don't want to give up goals in the first minute of any period, let alone the third. So the public address announcer, Jim Carl, hadn't even gotten through announcing all the penalties that were assessed from that big, huge scuffle at the end of the second period. Both benches very shortened right now, I can tell you that. I see at least 2, possibly 3 players in each penalty box as Burgrave makes a big glove save, and that's been dislodged. Oh, and then Burgrave went spilling down to the ice. Let's see what happened there. Maybe we'll get a better look here. Whoops. Well, the linesman went crashing down. Alexios Karabetsos just took Burgrave's skates out from under him. That's something you don't see every day. Tilly jumping the gun a couple of times. That face-off will not happen. Tilly's being booted from the circle, as is Baskerville. Ripley will take his place, and Breyer will take Baskerville's place. Ripley, the lone goal scorer for the Wildcats tonight, wins the offensive zone face-off as Orgel walks the blue line and looks for a lane. It's being taken away by Baskerville. Heiser with a shot, not all the way through, and the rebound stopped by Camden Burgrave. IceRays have cleared the puck down the ice. It is flat. Does it go the length? Yes. Orgel wins the race for icing, and the faceoff will return to the Corpus Christi zone. Cats had the opportunity to change personnel. The IceRays did not. Neither team elected to do it. And the IceRays win the defensive zone faceoff. Breyer gets the outlet pass on the right wing side from the red line. Misfires on the pass intended for Baskerville. No icing because Breyer had crossed the red line. Walker gets chippy there with Breyer. Puck is hoisted high in the air. Ripley can't secure a handle on it. Walker can as he steps into the middle, driving down the right side now. Walker took the ACT this morning. Well, mentally, he's got to be a little bit gassed, you would think. It's obviously a very stressful time for any young person taking the ACT. I remember in high school, and we were being prepared for it. Some of the staff at Lyons Township High School where I attended made it seem like it was the be-all, end-all. Here's Gammer shooting off the crossbar. That is not a goal. Gramato pointing, he thinks it was, but that was not a goal. That one hit the crossbar. And apparently, I guess Gramato's just going to give the IceRays a free goal. How in the world could Gramato have seen this? He was in the neutral zone when it happened. He came in pointing like he was standing behind the bench the whole time, behind the net the whole time. That is off the crossbar. That's not a goal. This is 100% a no goal. And the IceRays are going to take a 3-goal lead. And hopefully this is being washed out. It might be. Gramado is going to have a word with the goal judge right now, so at least he will do the Wildcats that courtesy. I mean, I don't know why this is even necessary. Everyone in this arena just saw what you did on Hockey TV. On your replay, it's clear as daylight. That puck hit the outside of the crossbar. And the goal judge, who is an off-ice official with the IceRays, turned the light on instantly. No goal. So thankfully the right call is made, and Gramado has washed that call out. And fans who are booing here, I'm not sure if they just didn't see it or what their issue is, but that clearly was not a goal. So we stay at 3-1 Corpus. Nevertheless, too close of a call, and the Wildcats just giving way too much room on those 2-on-1s and 3-on-1s. Gammer nearly with number 2 on the night. Just got waved off, so again, 3-1 is your score. We're 2 minutes into the third period. The IceRays with a 2-goal lead. So here's Thompson in front of the net, drags it to his backhand, tries to slip it down to Gammer. It's picked off by Regula. One hands it up and past Cody Fleckenstein, who races back into his own zone. Del Ponte gets it in the neutral zone, feeds it over to his D partner, Wyatt Matthews. Makes the safe play, goes behind his own net with the pass. Wyatt up to Regula. Regula lays one too far for Hanawal to pick it up. Dempsey overskates it a bit. Gammer puts it in front, hoping for Thompson. Broken up there by Cabinia. Del Ponte. Regula. Slow pass, easily picked off by Wilhelm, who hammers it back into the Wildcat zone. Cats have not established a foothold in the offensive zone in this third period so far. Friendly fire between Power and Wilhelm, collided with one another. Youngworth rather, Power and Youngworth. Power can't keep it in the zone. Hanawal gives him a couple of shoves. Dempsey will guide it over towards Heiser. The puck pops into the Wildcats bench, so we get a whistle and a stoppage of play. 3.5 into the third. IceRays have the lone third period goal, coming off the stick of Brad Power. And now the Hordes are let out of the penalty box. It's just floodgates open. 4 players, it looks like, from the Cats and 3 from the IceRays let out of the box, and the benches will return nearly to full. For the Wildcats, they're still missing Ilya. They will not have him for the rest of the game. Heiser has his stick checked by Brad Power. St. John's, Newfoundland native, with his parents in attendance from over 3,500 miles away from here tonight to watch Brad play. So it's picked up by Tripp, who wheels his way behind the Wildcats net, dishes it up towards the right point. Too far for Connie Yanni to do anything with it. It rolls all the way back into the IceRays zone. Burgrave has it on his stick now. Yanni cleared it down the length of the ice all the way down. It took a deflection, no icing. Waring wraps it. Kruger is there. Routine keep for the IceRays captain. This pass was broken up nicely by Nick Rosa. Puck is tossed off of Rosa's skate. Wyatt Matthews with a nice play to avoid a hand pass there. Instantly, again, the IceRays just keeping the Wildcats pinned deep in their own zone. Anytime the puck just pops out to center, Cats really don't have control of it. The IceRays just instantly slam it back into the Wildcat zone. DeMizio's shot grazes the outside of the right post. And he reverses one down the boards. Youngworth tried to put it in front. It went off the side of the net, or the back of the net instead, and we get a whistle. I think the puck is stuck there. It was frozen, so we get a stoppage. 15:24 to go in the third. We head to our Whataburger Minute of Madness, as well as our first third period media timeout. Gonna step aside for a quick break, folks. Be right back. You're listening to Wildcats Hockey on the Wildcats Broadcast Network. It's the IceRays leading the Wildcats 3-1 here in the final regular season game. Have got their work cut out for them. They've got to score 2 goals in the next 15 minutes to get this thing tied up. Through the first 45 minutes, they've only gotten 1. They're going up against a very stingy IceRays defense. Not giving up much, and Cam Burgrave has looked sharp as attack tonight. But Larry Youngworth has just gone to the sin bin, and the Wildcats' first goal and only goal of this game came on the power play. Perhaps this is the spark that they need. Power play has scored 3 times already in this series, and it's looked very strong. They can score here, they can really give themselves some momentum. We're at the quarter mark of period 3. Ripley scored the first power play goal in this game, and he's out there right now manning the right point at the moment. Koikula's shot gets blocked. Burnett will cycle it up to Waring. Waring back to Burnett, top of the left circle. Rose at the goal line, misfiring on the pass was Burnett, and now he will recover. Lifting the stick of Tucker White, taking it back, giving it up to the top. Waring with a wrist shot. Seen somehow by Burgrave, who makes the glove save. Cam Burgrave in this game, folks, 27 of 28. Been rock solid. Both goaltenders played very well and have more than given their teams a chance to win. Yesterday was a lot more up and down as Ripley took a tumble, tried to return a soft pass, broken up there and cleared out of the zone by the IceRays. Yesterday's second period was like a seesaw, just back and forth scoring on both sides. Waring will ring one over top of the net. Rattles around the glass, or rather that was Rosa who misfired. Waring will try to keep in the zone but couldn't do it. He has to go back into his own zone. Waring from the right side, from the blue line, crunched up by Jestro, but he gets the puck deep. Fleckenstein wraps it around Kruger, passes one blindly into the middle of his own zone. Fortunately for him, there were 3 gray sweaters there, and one of them, Fleckenstein, clears it. Waring stick wrapped up by Kruger. Koikula in searching for it. Kruger picks his pocket and tries to score from a tough angle with his backhand. Dempsey with a couple of big left pad saves. Not sure what caused that whistle. I suppose Gramato just lost sight of it. Dempsey made the stop with his Kruger nearly tucked that in just past Dempsey's toe. There's a small little area off the ice that the pads don't completely cover. By the skates, it looks like is where it goes lowest to the ground, but there's a really small little area that maybe a puck could barely slip through if it's tucked in the right way in the perfect spot, and Kruger nearly found it. Carballo fighting off a check from Tucker White, dropping it off to the trailers, but it was picked off by Kruger. Has one heck of a penalty kill so far. Tilly and Ryan Orgel starting the rush out of their own zone. Orgel up to Regula. Pass intended for Walker, broken up. Cats running to late offside. Walker knows if he touches it, the whistle will blow, decides not to. And the IceRays take over. 13:15 to go in the third period. The Wildcats power play has just expired and it didn't bring a whole lot. Now 1 for 4 on the night. Tilly will throw it in from center, easily gloved by Burgrave, and he will take a whistle and a defensive zone faceoff. Baker's dozen to go in the third, 3-1 Corpus Christi, and they've just killed off another Wildcats power play. Face-off is won by David Thompson. Matt Acioli starts the rush out from his own zone, throws it out towards Gammer, who goes tumbling down. Puck is stolen in the slot. A shot stopped by Dempsey. Rebound in a dangerous position. Dempsey manages to cover it up with his glove. Del Ponte goes punching Griffin Loughran, then loses an edge. Loughran skates away, trying to give Del Ponte the only penalty here. That might be what happens, I'm not sure. Nothing will be called. That's surprising. Kareem definitely got a couple of haymakers on Loughran there. Got away with several. And he will sky one to the neutral zone. Skinner one-handed passed it to Poikala. Negotiates his way across the IceRays blue line. Skinner from the right corner. Shovels one wide of the blocker side of Burgrave. Del Ponte scoots one down towards the left side. Skinner is there, but it was picked out by Thompson. Thompson swings it up, and the IceRays get it out of their own zone. Gammer throws it in and off the right corner boards. Dempsey kicks it behind the net further. And has his pocket picked there by Thompson, but he ran out of room. There were too many white sweaters around him. DeMizio, fresh off a line change, gets knocked down by the other 25. Hanawal knocked him off balance. Jason DeMizio is a big boy. Not easy to knock him off balance there, and Hanawal just made it look easy. DeMizio standing at 6'4", 220 pounds. Native of Goleta, California. One of the many IceRays who just recently got sort of a military mohawk-looking buzz cut. About every area except for the top of their head, so a whole bunch of IceRays now with mohawks, and DeMizio one of them. And like he should be in the military with that look. Combine that with the fact that he's 6'4", 220. Scary-looking dude. Cypus tried to pass it down the boards, then gets a bit of an interference in on Larry Youngworth, getting away with it. Cypus. Miscue on that pass. It angled off the corner nearly on net, but I don't think Burgrave touched it, so icing called against Wichita Falls. Cypus's pass well outside of the reach of Isaac Cabina. 11:13 to go in the third. IceRays with a 3-1 lead. Tonight's goals in the following order have been scored. First by Cole Gammer. After the puck rolled his way right into the low slot, Dempsey had no chance on that one-timer from Gammer. Another one-timer from Trevor Wilhelm in the second period, answered by Blake Ripley in the second on a Wildcats power play. And then in this third period, Brad Power with the lone goal. IceRays get a 2-on-1 off that Wildcats turnover. Rosa fresh off the bench. Back to defend Breyer. Here's a shot from the left side, stopped by Dempsey, and he hangs onto it. That was a very well-timed line change there to get Nick Rosa on the ice to backpedal and defend the 2-on-1 rush. It turned very quickly from a 2-on-1 into a 2-on-2, which essentially erased the threat on the right side. Rosa, one of the best defensive players on the Wildcats, easily the best defensive forward. The IceRays win this faceoff, and White will wire it from the blue line. Blockered away by Dempsey. Miller back to White with the left point. Puts it in behind the net, Baskerville. Scrap with Nick Rosa. Waring puts it up towards Wyatt Matthews, and a stuff attempt from Baskerville stopped. And a penalty will be called here against Rosa, who took down Baskerville a bit awkwardly in the corner here. Burgrave to the bench, but it's too late. The whistle blows, and the Wildcats will go back to the Parkway Grill penalty kill, which has been good tonight, but Cats need to start scoring. They're trailing by 2, and we're about halfway through this third period. This is going to erase 2 minutes, essentially, of opportunities for the Wildcats to score, unless they get a shorty. Miller will guide one back to Acioli at the left point. Del Ponte intercepting the pass and clearing it down the length of the ice. Burgrave to play it out to Logan Jestro, the IceRays #2 power play unit out there at the moment. Cabinha steals it off that pass intended from Jestro to Tripp. Here's a turnover, and Waring's shot, Orgel's rather, stopped easily by Burgrave. Now we're halfway through the third. 3-1 Corpus. Definitely had the better of play so far in this third period. Cats fail to rally and come from behind here. They will enter the playoffs on a 10-game losing streak. Go up against the #1 team probably in the entire league. Talk about an underdog scenario. Here's a stretch pass behind the defense, a shot from Miller over the crossbar. Thompson gave it back to Miller, now in the near side corner. Lifts the stick of Del Ponte. Like Orgel might have gotten his stick up high on Tripp, nothing will be called. Thompson holds on from the left circle, scoots in, tries to tuck it in, doesn't work out. Puck slides its way out to the slot, but it's held in the zone by Jestro. Jestro to Thompson. Burnett goes crashing into the two of them, both of whom go down. Del Ponte trying to rub out Thompson, get some body positioning. And Tripp finishes off Burnett. Now Orgel will take it behind the goal. There's some suspicious activity going on down there as Del Ponte is giving push after shove against David Thompson, who was down there, looked like a helpless opponent. And Del Ponte would just not let up on him. The tempers in this one definitely flaring for Kareem Del Ponte, who's made some uncharacteristic plays in this game. That's not surprising to see players who are normally pretty clean players don't do stuff like that very often. At this point, with the way things have been going lately for the Wildcats, that's not surprising to see. Remaining in the third period. We're going to stay, I believe, at 5 skaters aside, though there is a penalty showing against Kareem Del Ponte. This might be a 5-on-3, but the thing is, I saw Thompson go to the IceRays penalty box. So this might be a 5-on-3 for Corpus. They might get a chance to put this one away. I think that's what's going to happen. Still 46 seconds to go on the penalty against Nick Rosa for that slash in the corner, and it will be a 5-on-3 penalty kill. IceRays could tally on a 4th goal here and really put this one out of reach for the Wildcats. Power goes across, and that didn't take long. Larry Youngworth, a nice patient pass from Brad Power, tap-in goal for Youngworth. The IceRays lead 4-1. IceRays will stay on the power play after that goal scored by Youngworth. Surprisingly, the first power play goal the Ice Rays have scored all night long came on the 5-on-3. So Kareem's penalty came back to bite the Wildcats, and he's going to have to sit in the box for another minute and change here. It's showing minute 53, which sounds about right. Only 7 seconds on the 5-on-3. That's all it took for the Ice Rays to virtually put this game out of reach. 9 minutes remain in the third period. The Wildcats have to not only kill off another 100 seconds on the penalty, but also score at least 3 times in that period remaining after they kill it, if they do. Cole Filler turns the puck over. Isaac Cabinia off the intercept. Motors his way in through center, gets knocked off balance there by Yanni. Penalty will be called against Yanni. That's a very weak interference call. I think that might be just Dan Gramato feeling bad for the Wildcats right now. And that's not a penalty, folks. Isaac Cabinia had the puck, and Yanni was called for interference. That's, frankly, that's a pretty absurd call against the Ice Rays, and the Cats will take it, I suppose. We're going to go to the 4-on-4 here. Not sure they're going to show that again. I'm hoping they do. I don't think they will. But that was absolutely not interference. So Waring will unleash a one-timer from the left point after that Wildcats face-off win. Pad saved by Burgrave. Jestro gives it behind the net. Wilhelm, who scored earlier tonight. Back to Jestro. Out of Wilhelm again. Orgel pursuing the puck in his own zone. Beats Kruger in that race, but Kruger pins it up along the boards, prevents it from going anywhere. Finally, the Wildcats work it out past their own blue line. Wilhelm. From the red line, throws it wide of the net on the right side of it. Dempsey out of it to play the puck to Waring. Now it's Orgel again. We're off the skate of Nick Rosa. Waring from his own zone. Slapped it up to Ryan Burnett, who charges wide on Jestro. Motors in and shoots with the paddle down. Burgrave made the stop. Baskerville picks up the rebound. Cats are 17 seconds away from getting a power play here. It'll be a short one, but it will be something. And I think Orgel will just be content to wait out the rest of this 4-on-4. The Cats improved to 4 for 5 on their penalty kill. And now go to an abbreviated power play, just 35 seconds to go on it. And the Ice Rays have possession in their own zone. Baskerville's got plenty of time, and he launches it the length of the ice. And on net, Dempsey knocked it into the corner. Tilley picks it up. Really time for just one Wildcats rush on this power play. Heiser slings it around the end boards. Tilley will be first to it on the other side. Walker. The stick lifted by Fleckenstein. Tilley works it back to the left point. Sipus takes the slap shot, deals it to Heiser in the right circle. His wrist shot got blocked, and the Ice Rays pick it up and clear it. Yanni outraces everybody. The defenseman for Corpus Christi first to it in the corner in the Wildcats zone. He's surrounded by 3 Wildcats players. Finally, it rolls out of that scrum. Too far for Hannawall to reach it. Baskerville did. Pops out to center at the red line. Walker will fly it in, punching it into the left corner at that backhand clear. 6 minutes to go in period 3. 4-1 Corpus Christi. So we'll go for icing against the Ice Rays as Orgel's back to get it. Thompson beats Regula on the face-off. Orgel's pass was a miscue there from Ripley. It's over his stick. Ripley gets back on it. Ponte deals it back to Orgel. Keep doing that for some reason. Orgel gives a beautiful pass right on the tape for Ripley, who motors in on his left side. The shot was blocked by Tucker White. Thompson crosses the blue line. Breyer was offside, so we get a whistle stopping play. 5 1/4 to go in the third. IceRays leading the Cats by 3. We're going to head to our third period, second media timeout, folks. Be right back. Burnett's cross-ice pass on the tape for Poikala. Give it back to Rosa in the slot. Whoa, big collision between Burnett and Larry Youngworth. Somehow, goaltender Berggrave remained unaffected by all that. Didn't even get touched. He was right next to him. Poikala's got one hand on his stick. He's got the puck as he wheels up to the top. Tried to stick handle through 3 IceRays there. Poikala gets his stick lifted. Youngworth's got a breakaway. Poikala with a good recovery there. Lifted Youngworth's stick before the IceRays forward could get a shot off. And the ex-Cooley region Chills got a goal already in this game. Filler had his stick slashed cleanly out of his hands. And a late whistle called by Dan Gramato will send the Wildcats back to the box. Rosa to the sin bin. The IceRays have a chance to absolutely put a dagger in the Wildcats' throats right now with a 5th goal. Power cycles it up to Fleckenstein. At this point, the IceRays just trying to pad their stats, and they will. Larry Youngworth with goal number 2 on the night. The IceRays lead 5-1. Ripley gets a partial breakaway on the left side and fires, hoping for a second of the night. Tried to go glove side. Berggrave made the stop. Sealed up that side with his glove. No room under his arm there. Folks, obviously you can tell there's some issues that the Wildcats have to get figured out in the next week. And it will not be a pleasant week of practice for the Wildcats, I can tell you that much. There's a chance they'll finish just a few points ahead of Odessa. It's not even, they won't even look at it this way, folks, but they barely made the playoffs this season, and it was because of the entire last 6 of their season. They did nothing but lose. From getting off to just horrendous starts, to failing to hold on to leads, to allowing goals just seconds after they score them, just going to sleep. It's just not been pretty the last couple of months. And it doesn't take a brilliant mind of the sport to realize that if they play the way that they have been for the last few weeks against the #1 team in the NAHL, a team that they've lost to 8 consecutive times, a team that's dominated the entire South Division this year, forget about the Wildcats. It doesn't take much to figure out that if the Wildcats play the way that they have against Lone Star next weekend, the series will not last very long. So something has got to be figured out, and something has to be figured out soon. And Josh Nelson, we've heard him. Everyone who's been around him has said he's saying the right things in the locker room. It's not a matter of coaching. It's a matter of executing. Top to bottom right now, it's not being done anywhere. Not to point fingers or to lay blame onto any one particular player. This is as much of a team sport as any exists, folks. And right now, the Wildcats are not a team. They're not acting like one, and they're certainly not playing like one. Carballo will cycle the puck up to Cypus at the left point. D-to-D pass for Heiser. Rosa looking to get a consolation goal here. He wiped out as he was falling down, spun it into the middle. Baskerville picked it up. Can't clear it past the 6'5" jumping body of Cypus, who swings one through the blue paint. Burnett's over there at the other side. Back to Carballo and behind the net. And at this point, this is not what you want. Absolutely not. Right when you see this start to happen, you'd hope that somebody on the Wildcats, a Burnett or a Poikala or a Rosa, or one of their leaders, would be there to diffuse the tension, because this is the exact opposite of what they need right now, folks. They just have to get out of this game alive, stay as healthy as they can, and not risk any sort of suspensions or disciplinary action from the league. If you're a fan of underdog stories, folks, you're going to have one next weekend. That is for sure. The first round of the playoffs, the South Division semifinals, Wildcats, Brahmas, will probably be the 16 null teams going to the playoffs this year. There were bets being placed on them at Vegas. In Vegas, most likely the Wildcats would be the least likely team to make it out of the first round, based on purely odds probability. When you add up all the figures and all the numbers, everything is going against the Wildcats. Not only the way that they finished this season, this regular season, but the way that they've played against their opponents this season. Lone Star has absolutely wiped the floor with the Wildcats the last 8 times these teams have met. Even the only game the Wildcats won against Lone Star was the first time they met. It was back on November 23rd. It was at Nitex. It was a 5-4 decision, and the Cats were almost doubled in shots on goal. They just converted on just about every one of their scoring chances. Yes, they've been close, but close does not cut it, certainly not in the playoffs. And this Brahmas team, folks, I'm just going to say it, it's the deepest and probably the strongest team in the history of the franchise. They're hungry. They haven't won a championship since 2009 when they were members of the CHL. Dan Wildfong's second season there. He's still there 8 years later, and he and his team are hungry. Right now, the Wildcats don't look like they're hungry. They look like they're fatigued. And at times, they look overwhelmed. They look like they're on their heels, and they're tentative. They're not attacking. They're just waiting for something to happen too often. Got to start pushing the envelope, and they've got to start doing it right now. Thompson shows off some good stick handling as he dekes out Walker, and the puck goes out of play off a deflection. And hopefully this will be the last whistle and the last face-off of this game. A bitter end to a season that's seen so many ups and downs, and of recent it's been mostly downs. The Wildcats will not reach 30 wins this season. They've lost 10 in a row now. Their record heading into the playoffs will be 29, 24, and 7. 15 fewer wins than what they had last year. And we can only hope to see next weekend just a completely renewed, revamped, revitalized, rejuvenated Wildcats team. If it's not almost the opposite of what we've seen for the last few weeks, folks, I'll tell you one thing with relative certainty. The series against the Brahmas will not last very long. They're going in as huge underdogs. That's a good place to start. That's a good place to draw motivation. It's much easier to fire yourself up for a playoff series or any game, really in any sport, if everyone is counting you out. And right now, folks, I'll tell you this much. Everyone is counting the Wildcats out. Everybody, in the back of their minds, believes it. The question is, do they? Got a lot of work to do before next Friday. Don't envy the players on the bus ride back. It'll be 8+ hours, and not only that, but a very long week of practice, what could be and probably will be the longest week of practice in their lives, because they are not ready to play the Brahmas in the first round of the playoffs right now, I'll tell you that much. They've got to get themselves ready. They've got 6 days to do it. We're not going to keep you, folks. The issues that we've had, I'm just about ready to get out of this place here. The internet issues we've had to cap off the poor performance we saw tonight. It's been a frustrating night if you're a Wildcats fan. The IceRays, knowing this was their last regular season game in this building, for this season at least, will skate around and salute what's left of a very tremendous crowd here on Pack the House night in Corpus Christi. 5-1 your final score in favor of the IceRays. Thanks so much for joining us, folks. Again, The Wildcats will take on the Lone Star Brahmas next Friday and Saturday night at the Nitec Sports Center. Puck drops at 7:30 p.m. Central Time. We hope so much to see you out there supporting your Wildcats on the road. It should be a battle against the Lone Star Brahmas, we hope. But again, a lot of work remains for the visitors. I would pull up the Nitec Sports Center box office number for you, but I've got no access to the Wi-Fi or even through Ethernet. I can't really access the internet at all here, unfortunately. But I know it's open to Wildcats fans alike, so go ahead, get your tickets. Look it up, the Nitec Sports Center box office, and make the hour-plus bus or whatever kind of vehicle you drive down to Nitec's. Support your Wildcats on the road, because believe me, folks, they're going to need it in a hostile environment like that. Game 3 will be at the KYC on Friday, April 21st at 7:05 p.m. Game 4, if necessary, will be on April 22nd, that Saturday following Game 3. The very next night, Saturday, April 22nd at 7:05 p.m. Central Time. Those will be the Wildcats' only home games of the first round. Should they advance, that schedule will come to you as it develops. For now, thanks so much for joining us, folks. We hope you enjoyed the broadcast in spite of the issues and in spite of the outcome. Again, it's the IceRays steamrolling the Wildcats here on Pack the House night to a 5-1 victory here at the American Bank Center. Next Friday night at Nitec's, 7:30 p.m. Central Time. Hope to see you there, folks. If not, tune in as always on hockeytv.com or on YouTube. Till then, so long, everyone. Thanks for joining us.